nice suit.
Selling art is a bit of a... art itself, you know. Dealing in art is a... Indeed, I am. I've been an art dealer for most of my life, plying my trade all across the settled systems. It's actually why I'm here in New Atlantis today. I'll be delivering a piece of art to a very particular client later. However, I don't yet have the art in my possession. Actually, would you like to pick up the artwork and bring it back to me? I'll reward you for your effort, of course.
Oh, no. He lost his ship about a month back. Crimson Fleet raid, I heard.
You simply need to go pick up some artwork. The exchange has already been arranged, and you won't have to show any credits. It's just a matter of picking something up and bringing it back to me. There's really no need to worry. It's all very simple.
More expensive.
I'm not very familiar with the streets of New Atlantis. I'm not from here, you see. I'd rather just avoid any trouble and have someone more capable do the exchange for me. Excellent. You'll be picking up the art from Zoe Kaminsky at the Trade Authority. Tell her you're there for Samson Jabrel's art. She'll understand. Return the artwork to me, and you will be compensated. Other than being an art dealer, there's not much to say. I grew up in Neon, and I knew I had to get out of that place somehow. I did a few odd jobs, some deliveries, and it eventually led me onto this path I'm on now. I never thought I'd do what I do, but I suppose life can be surprising. In a sense. My trade doesn't necessarily need me to be tied down in one location. Because of that, I travel all over the settled systems. I'm here now for an opportunity, but before this, I was in Aquila. Before that, Neon. In my line of work, I can't afford to stay in one place for very long. Well, of course they do. Why wouldn't they? I've heard tell that you can get some very impressive items at the Trade Authority. But for now, let's settle for the artwork that I've procured.
What? Really?
See you.
Wasn't that included in the transfer from last week?
I am not a stock boy. I am busy right if you want to buy something. I'm afraid
How's
the
business
kiosks, I'm expecting a rather large shipment
I feel like
any
I see
moment now,
customers
so
in here all...
Hi there! Thanks for stopping in. Feel free to look around. I can take care of transactions, and if you've got questions, just ask. Oh, please, take a look. Thanks. It's hard work, but it all pays off in the end. And I can't take all the credit. Gerhardt, my business partner, he does so much of the work behind the scenes. If it weren't for him, I don't... Thanks for shopping at Jemison Mercantile. Hey, we were running low on foodstuffs, so I went ahead and placed another order.
Really? Huh. We'll have to see if that's a long-term trend. Maybe account for it better in the standard shipments.
I'm, pretty sure you weren't supposed to take that.
I am not trying to pester you, but I really do need that credit transfer to cover for last month's deliveries.
What? Really? Wasn't that included in the transfer from last week?
No, that was for handling. I am not a
Okay.
stock boy.
I'll try and remember. I swear, lately I feel like I'm spending more time at Galbank than I am here.
I'm not seeing any records from that hauler out of Sidonia. What was his name again? When's the last time he delivered?
Oh, that guy. His name was, it's on the tip of my tongue. Jeez, it's something simple
It's
too.
amazing what passes as art.
Names
nowadays.
aside, where's the paperwork? Did it not get filed?
Hmm? Oh, no.
Hi. How you doing? I used to be an actuary. Now look at me.
It's cliche, but it's true. Everything has a price. And whatever it may be, I can afford it. It's cliche, but it's true. Everything has a price. And when yes, I've been expecting you. Here's your package. And don't worry, I've already corrected the ownership record for you. Good. I'm glad we understand each other. Thanks for your business. Of course, of course. If you need anything else, you know where to find us. thing about the trade business? Who you know matters as much. The Trade Authority has access to. Be my guest. The Trade Authority appreciates your visit.
Checking your file.
What was the name of that guy, the contact for the job?
It takes a strong mind and a... If you're in the market... Shh! Are you crazy? Keep your damn voice down. Oh, get off your high horse. I didn't trick you. You're just not very observant. What do you have to complain about? You're getting paid? Everything went smoothly. No one got hurt. It's all part of the game, my friend. It pays to get your hands a little bit dirty. It pays very, very well. But I digress. Thank you for your discretion. Now that our little transaction is complete, I should be on my way. Take care, and let's not talk about this again. That's of no concern to you. I told you at the end of our business that we will not speak about it. Do not mention my... Goodbye.
If you want to buy something, I'm sure Amoli can assist you. I have work to do.
Hey, we were running low on foodstuffs, so I went ahead and placed another order.
Really? Huh. We'll have to see if that's a long-term trend.
Okay. Hello. Do you have room for one more on your crew? I think you'll agree my rate is fair. Now, why is that? That's true. I hear you. That's a good one. I hear you. You got yourself a deal. Where do you want me? Let me know when you have an assignment for me. Do you have an assignment for me, Captain? Yeah, sure. Point the way. Don't forget to assign me somewhere.
Hey there! You look like the planet-hopping type. Got any room on your ship for someone like me?
Sarah Morgan! You know,
Aye aye, Captain. I won't overcharge you. I'm grateful for the offer. I've been out of a job since I left the Freestar Rangers.
None of those rocks you spend time digging up are going to keep you warm at night. I'm just looking out for you.
You're short on credits? This isn't getting us anywhere. Look, I'd like to help, but... You know what? I like you. Maybe we can work something out. Well, the last thing I want is you going bankrupt on my account. I'll work for whatever you can pay. Thanks! I think we'll make a great team, huh? Thanks for giving me a chance, Captain.
You picked a good day to drop by. Bartender's making them strong today. You in town? You're with Constellation? Damn, that's cool. I've always admired you guys. Exploring the stars full-time seems like a dream come true. It seems like we have that in common. Personally, I'm here looking for work. I just quit my job as a... Well, I'll be damned. What a coincidence. Working on a ship sounds perfect. What's your offer? I'm a reasonable guy, but that's just too... Do I need a shower or something?
Not used to people coming up to me. The suit usually scares them off. Although I guess that's my fault, isn't it? Yeah, well, I go all over. A little psychological warfare up front tends to make things easier. Retired, actually. From too many lives to count. But I've been all those things, yeah? And a few more. I spend a lot of time in the fringes these days. God help you if you come across something someone wants. You'd think it was things like civilizations and factions that cause people to want to shoot each other. No, even without that, it's still winner take all. Of course. That's what makes the reality so tragic. Wait a second. I think I'm in danger of having a real conversation with someone for a change. Better stop here. I'm sure we'll see each other again. I'll see you around. Ouch. 2 minutes into this conversation. Well, outside heroic individuals like yourself, the suit... I guess maybe I am. I spend a lot of time in the fringes these days. You'd think it was things like civilizations and factions that cause people to want to shoot each other. You're on to me. Yeah, you got that. Wait a second. I think I'm in danger of having a real I'm sure we'll see each...
Hey, if you're looking for a weapon specialist, I could really use the work to pay off some debts. Damn.
Hope life is treating you well. Let me know if I can get you anything. Hey there. Always nice to see a new face. First time in New Atlantis? Oh boy. I didn't mean for you to take it personally. It's just something to say to customers. Break the ice. Know what I mean? Listen, you just relax. Make yourself comfortable. You're welcome to stay as long as you want. That work for you, new girl? Let me know if there's anything I can get you. I hear there's some sort of citizens group trying to get the old Valroon embassy torn down. When I first heard about it, I thought it was a bit extreme, but really, would you want to move into that place? Me neither. And it's not like they're ever coming back. House Valroon, I mean? Well, at least not make nice and be all diplomatic. We all know how that went. Bit of a slow news day around here. Ah, well, speaking of news, some folks are convinced David Barron, you know, the SSN anchor, is some sort of Freestar sympathizer. Ridiculous, if you ask me. Sure, they ran a couple of stories about Aquila City that weren't totally critical, but come on. Have you ever been? It's really not that bad. Anyway, that's the sort of high-stakes stuff people talk up while waiting on a flight. So glad you asked, aren't you? I can tell. Yep. Spaceport traffic keeps me pretty busy. But just between you and me, I've got something in the works that'll change everything. A new drink that'll... You would love it, I guarantee. Only, I can't make you one right now. Don't have the ingredients. I made a deal with the hauler to bring me some small samples of an ingredient I think will make all the difference. But it never showed up. Turns out the guy I hired was also hired by a few other folks. The kind of folks who security got wind, and the whole lot was impounded. Now they're just sitting on it, taking their sweet time like the... I submitted all the paperwork, believe me. It won't amount to anything, but I did it. And really, I'm not even certain this is what I need to finish the recipe. I think it is. I need to get my hands on that cargo. I really do. It's gonna keep me awake nights if I don't try. Before we say anything else, I am in no way asking you to do anything that might violate any of the many, many laws in place here in New Atlantis or the larger United Colonies. This is just one friend talking to another friend, asking if maybe that friend could possibly find a way to get her important cargo out of the impound. And if, hypothetically, that were done in a less than 100% legal way, well, that might not be the worst thing in the world. You, with me on this?
Surely you're not seriously considering this course of action. The last thing we need is UC security on our backs.
God, you have no idea what a relief this is. I'm up. Hope life is treating you well. Let me know if I can get you anything.
Been a long time since I'll be right here.
Hey there. Always nice to... Listen, that worked for you? Let me know if there's any... You know, I'm usually all for letting anybody stuck live. Yep. I've got something. You would love it. I made a deal with, but it never showed up. Security got wind. I submitted all. And really, I need to get my hands on that. I really do. It's gonna... Before we... I am in no way. This is just one friend. And if you,
Surely you're not seriously considering this course of action. The last thing we need is UC security on our backs.
Catch you later.
Sidonia is an industrial... All right, let's go. Wonder where this will all lead. Hurry back.
Hey there. Good to see you again. I've got some. You would love it, I guarantee. I made a deal with the hub, but it never showed up. Security got wind. I submitted all, and really, I need to get my hands on that. I really do. Before we... I am in no way. This is just one and if you, God, you have no idea what a relief this is. I'm obviously not expecting you or anyone to go in guns blazing and taking hostages or something. I just figure there has to be a way to get what I need. I know a few things, but not much. The cargo is being held down at the spaceport, not in the security office. Still, they use the same access cards. If you had one, it'd work. How or why you would have a UC security access card is none of my business, of course. I'm sure I'm better off not knowing. Beyond that, the ship decks over there might also be able to get in. I don't know any of them, or I'd be talking to them instead of you. No offense. Like I said, I submitted the usual security release forms. But because my cargo is tied up with a bunch of, again, totally unrelated illegal stuff, I don't expect the forms to matter. At all. I went and talked to an officer at the office, too. Yumi. Sergeant, maybe? He was polite, but unhelpful. I declined to suggest that as their new slogan. New Atlanta Security. Polite, but unhelpful. Truth in advertising, eh? I'm not worried. I'm annoyed. Wait, are you saying I should be worried? No, of course not. It'll be fine. Totally fine. I trust you. I'm obviously not expecting you or anyone to go in guns blazing and... I'm not worried. I'm annoyed. Wait, are you saying I... You're in the right place. See you around.
You're making things hard.
Been a long time since I've been. Lead the way. Contrary to what you might have heard.
Looks like you got some fines to clear up. I've got special orders. You're coming with me. Prepare for immediate transport to our vessel. I've been authorized to inform you that you're being transferred to the UC Vigilance. Other than that, I'm not at liberty to Smart decision.
It's a shame the United Colonies built such an impressive ship for battle, instead of using it for exploration.
The commander's got plans for this loser. Why else would he be going through all this trouble? I still don't understand why he trusts a criminal. Seems like too much of a risk. Stop worrying and keep an eye on our guest. I'll be right back. You just sit tight. The commander wants to have a little chat. The prisoner's ready, sir. I hope you're comfortable. We have a lot
discuss. Not this time. So, let me see what we're working with here. It appears you spent some time as a combat medic. Good to know that you can take care of yourself under fire. I also see that you've mined on Vectera, and now you're with Constellation. You've certainly been quite busy. Oh, and look at that. Right at the bottom of this list is the criminal incident that landed you in my crosshairs. Huh. You're absolutely right. Well, I'll have my people get right on that. Now that we have that out of the way, let me introduce myself. My name is Commander Kibwe Ikande, and I'm in charge of this operation for UC SysDev. Are you familiar with what we do? UC SysDev is a division of the UC Navy. While they handle the big picture stuff, we deal with a very particular problem. The Crimson Fleet. That convict is where you enter the picture. Smart decision. We've been prodding at the Crimson Fleet for years, trying to take them down one ship at a time. But we barely scratched the surface. If we can get someone on the inside, we have a shot at finding a loose thread we can pull to bring it all down. Not for me. For yourself. Look, I'm going to make this simple. Agree to work for UC SysDev, and together we take down the Crimson Fleet. Refuse, and I tell these guys to throw you into the nearest lockup. Might even tack on an extra few hundred credits to your fine. Well, first of all, we'll forget about the infraction that landed you on the Vigilance. Wipe the slate clean. Better still, depending on how well you do your job, we'll even kick in a few extra credits to offset any cost that the operation will incur. Or you can throw all that away and end up back in jail with a hefty fine attached. Of course you have a choice. It's just stacked in my favor. So, what do you say? You going to work with me, or should I find someone else? Smart choice. I'm going to have one of my men escort you to the operations center. I strongly suggest that you don't give him any trouble. And don't bother trying to leave the ship. I think you'll find all access to the docking area is fully restricted.
All right, let's go. Pardon? So, you took the op instead of serving the time. Gonna be the commander's new role, huh?
Go on. I wouldn't leave the commander wing.
Got a lot of guts. Still, makes you wonder. Especially the stories that go around. Like the one about how the fleet deals with informants by lashing them to the whole region. And then slowly setting the air in pursuit. Could you imagine a worse job? I know I couldn't. Since the commander handpicked me, I guess
Excuse me. I could have joined any division in the UC Navy. I chose SysDev.
Yes, what? Howdy.
Ikande's on level 2. Try not to touch anything until he actually clears you.
All right. This is as far as I go. Step to ops.
Hello?
Hey. Yes, what?
I'd like to brief you on the mission, so please, pay attention. Ah, there you are. Excellent. Now that we've established your level of cooperation with us, I want to introduce you to your new home. This is the Operations Center of the UC Vigilance. SysDef's nerve center, dedicated to the destruction of the Crimson Fleet. Which is precisely why we're taking a more clandestine approach. We need eyes and ears inside the Crimson Fleet. Someone who can feed us information, evidence, and expose their weaknesses. The catch is that you can't just knock on their front door and ask for an application. Getting inside is going to take some finesse. Let's get one thing straight right now. While you're working for me, I'm going to treat you like one of my own. Whatever crimes you committed in the past no longer matter. You're now an agent of SysDef, meaning that it's my job to keep you alive. I do. Our intelligence has managed to find a possible opening into the Crimson Fleet through Saoirse Bowden. She works for the Trade Authority in Sidonia, so you'll be using a container of Aurora we've loaded on your ship to get her attention. You'd better hope so. Saoirse won't be easy to dupe. Once you bluff your way into the Crimson Fleet, then the operation proceeds to evidence gathering. That's where my second-in-command, Lieutenant Gillian Toft, comes into the picture. She'll explain everything you need to know. Eager to get going? Good. Remember, this entire operation rests on your ability to infiltrate the Crimson Fleet and bring us the evidence we need to take them down. wouldn't expect any less. Look, before you begin, I want to make something perfectly clear. As an undercover operative for UC SysDef, you'll be expected to follow our code of conduct and ethics. Allow yourself to stray too far off the path, and you stand a good chance of spiraling out of control. To put it simply, you can't go into every situation with guns blazing. Think before you act. Calculate what you're doing and pull the trigger only when it's absolutely necessary. At the end of the day, your primary goal is taking down the Crimson Fleet. That's the greater good. That's what I wanted to hear. Anyway, it's time to hand you over to Lieutenant Toft. She'll brief you about the... Now, get up. As you were.
All right, we don't... While you're working undercover, it's imperative that if you find any records that look suspicious or incriminating, you bring it to me. I'd scour every inch of wherever the Crimson Fleet sends you. Otherwise, you're wasting our time and risking your neck for... Criminals are sloppy. Look hard enough... Well, you better. Commander Akande's... I want data slates, computer downloads, handwritten notes. Hell, I'll take anything if it'll get those bat... For the sake of the settled systems, I hope you're right. That minor skirmish you had with them on Vectera was nothing compared to the death and destruction those pirates leave behind. If you've seen what I've seen, you'd understand why I'm pushing you so hard. That's all we're asking. Oh, before you go, there's one more thing. Commander Akande has authorized a credit disbursement for each piece of evidence that you return, as compensation for your efforts. It's not generous, it's motivational. Commander Akande's idea. All right, we've loaded a container of Aurora into your ship's cargo hold. We're also providing you with a sample you can use to tease the goods. We've cleared your ship for launch. Proceed to Sidonia. Make contact with Saoirse Bowden. And with any luck, she'll point you to the Crimson Fleet. That should do it. You're dismissed. Don't worry, the container's been registered with UC Security, so you shouldn't have any trouble. Even if you're scanned. Of course, if we find out you tried to sell it to someone outside the boundaries of this particular operation, well, I don't think I need to tell you the consequences of making that mistake. We'll be here if you need us.
Howdy.
Excuse me. Most of our operations team graduated top of their class at the academy. If there's fleet out there, we'll find them. Yes?
Hello?
Get this ship moving. Security scanners, chemical sniffers. The United
Looks
Colonies
like
sure
you've got some
isn't taking any
fines.
chances.
I've got special orders. You're coming with... Smart decision.
Boarding a vessel like this, certainly. Security scanners, chemical sniffers. The United Colonies sure isn't taking any chances.
Please keep moving.
A diplomatic visa? You got to be kidding.
Hey, I need to talk with you. I'm glad I finally caught up with you. I'm from the Trackers Alliance. We have a proposal for you. Good. Because what I'm about to tell you could change the course of your life. The Trackers Alliance has been following your exploits and believe you have what it takes to join our ranks. You're being invited to our new headquarters in Aquila City. There you'll meet with Agent Number 1. If you decide to consider our offer, they'll guide you through our initiation process. I'd expect you do. If you have any inclination of being a bounty hunter, then this is the best deal you're going to get. I'm not here to convince you. I've just been instructed to deliver the message. Your questions would be best answered by Agent Number 1. There's a reason for that. It used to be on a remote planet in a remote part of the galaxy. Agent Number 1 decided that it would be better if we had more of a public presence. So we purchased the old McCall estate and turned it into our headquarters. Okay, then. Wonderful. I appreciate you hearing me out. I'll be heading out soon if there's nothing more. Remember, Trackers Alliance HQ in Aquila City. Speak to Agent Number 1.
You should see some of the shit. Hey, kind of breaking my concentration here.
Registration accepted. You may now proceed through the historical displays in the orientation hall, or continue on to the examination.
In 2150, humanity learned the Earth's magnetosphere would collapse sometime in the next half-century, eliminating all life on the planet. Decisive action was required, but the secure transport of an entire civilization would demand a new kind of cooperation, a new kind of courage, and a new kind of union. Thus, in 2159, the United Colonies were formed to make that journey possible. Just 1 year later, the Galileo, the first of many colony ships, touched down here on Jemison, beginning a new era of human history, the age of the United Colonies.
The effort and planning it must have taken to evacuate literally the entire planet. Can you imagine? The logistics alone must have been mind-boggling.
I'm not part of the tour. Move along.
From their foundation, the United Colonies strove to provide all their citizens with opportunity, security, and peace. But there were those among the UC that still wanted something more. Independence. So in 2161, the UC issued the Centaurus Proclamation, granting UC citizens the right to settle distant worlds and form their own sovereign powers. It wasn't long before the first new faction, the Free Star Collective, was formally organized in 2188, later followed by House Varun, revealing themselves to the universe in 2230.
The result of the Centaurus Proclamation has always left me torn. So much conflict arose as a result. Was it worth it?
It was only in 2230 that the faction known as House Varun first made contact with the rest of the settled systems. Founded by the passengers of a colony ship that had left New Atlantis and disappeared 4 decades earlier, House Varun was a faction unlike any other. A theocracy dedicated wholly to the beliefs of its isolationist founder, Jinan Varun. House Varun initially made overtures of peace towards the rest of the settled systems. They claimed their only intention was to spread the word of their god, the Great Serpent. But none could have guessed that this worship might take the form of a bloody war, the Serpent's Crusade. The Freestar Collective was initially founded in 2188, when the citizens of Aquila banded together with the pleasure city of Neon in mutual defense. But in 2194, after the deployment of a UC medical star station in orbit around their world, the citizens of Narion also requested to join the collective. The resulting rise in tensions between the Freestar Collective and UC culminated in the settled system's first intergalactic conflict, the Narion War. Despite a decisive victory by the UC, the colonies permitted the citizens of Narion to join the collective, forming the basis for the fiercely independent union that persists to this day. Beginning in 2240, House Varun forces declared all-out war on the rest of human civilization, initiating the Serpent's Crusade. Over the next 23 years, thousands of Freestar, UC, and independent souls were killed by agents of House Varun in the name of their serpent god. It was only with the death of their founder in 2263 and the succession of his heir, Jarek, that House Varun finally sued for peace. There remains, however, select members of House Varun who refuse to recognize the cessation of hostilities their leaders established. Even after House Varun's mysterious disappearance, these zealots remain a threat to all who encounter them. Their pacification, a goal of all space. Of the many conflicts between the galaxy's factions, none was more brutal than the recent colony war between the UC and the Freestar Collective. Set off by the unauthorized Freestar colonization of Vesta's Pride in 2308, a direct violation of the Nerion Treaty, the colony war spread quickly across the galaxy. Both sides deployed every tool at their disposal. Armadas of warships, mechanized combat platforms, or mechs, even bioengineered alien creatures, the infamous UC xeno-weapons. It was only in 2311 at the Battle of Cheyenne that the scales finally tipped. The Freestar Collective, utilizing their civilian fleet as a human shield, successfully crippled the superior United Colonies Navy. After their shocking victory against the galaxy's greatest navy, the Freestar Collective offered terms of peace, which the colonies, out of an interest in staving off any further human costs, accepted. The galaxy has been rebuilding ever since.
The colony war was a horrible conflict that irreparably wounded settled systems. There were times I felt that it would never end.
Few settled worlds were left untouched by the colony war. But nowhere could the viciousness of modern warfare be seen more clearly than on the Freestar planet of Nira. Initially occupied by invading United Colonies forces as a forward operating position, repeated attempts to take and retake the planet by collective forces led only to devastation. Swaths of the world were transformed into scorched husks, a nightmarish testament to the depths of human ingenuity and human cruelty. And today, Nira remains a continuing reminder to the horrors of unfettered war.
UC sank a lot of money into this place. They say it's to teach foreign pilots our history. I think it's more about telling history how they want it told.
One of my slates said terramorphs can control people's minds.
You know it was some UC general that condemned Londinium? Gave it over to these things. One of these murals said he was executed after the war. Might have gotten off.
In the midst of the colony war, a different kind of tragedy struck the UC city of Londinium. A newly constructed but critical supply center for the United Colonies war effort, Londinium found itself overrun by one of the galaxy's most mysterious predators, the Terramorph. A rare but pervasive threat to all human-settled worlds, Terramorphs swept over the city, seemingly out of nowhere, on a scale never before seen in recorded history. Valiant efforts by the UC military slowed the onslaught, but the creatures proved unstoppable. Ultimately, the decision was made to destroy the Londinian spaceport, sealing off the city, the outbreak, and its citizenry from the galaxy at large. The tragedy of Londinium is mourned by the UC to this day.
Dad wanted me to apply for the administration track at school, but I'm going to be a xenobiologist. It's science division or nothing.
After the devastation wrought by the Colony War, the UC and the Freestar Collective came together to ratify a treaty that became known as the Armistice. Both sides agreed to a vast reduction in standing forces, and that xeno-weapons and mech warfare would be outlawed. All related research was sealed away, accessible only in cases of dire emergency. But the Collective had another demand, that the active commanders of the UC military stand trial for their actions. The United Colonies, in the interest of peace and galactic security, agreed. In 2311, 3 United Colonies senior officers were found guilty. Commander Henry Durant, General Indira Rastogi, and Fleet Admiral Francois Sanon, known better as Ve Victus. All were sentenced to death for their actions, bringing the colony war to a close and returning peace to the galaxy at long last.
I was a strong supporter of the Armistice. All of the terrible weapons that both sides used against one another. It had to end.
You didn't hear this from me. It was into this new world that the Vanguard was born. An official branch of the UC Navy, the Vanguard is the United Colonies Volunteer Fleet, serving a myriad of security, logistical, and reconnaissance roles. And after a sufficient length of service, UC citizenship is guaranteed to every Vanguard member. Open to all captains, regardless of origin, the Vanguard is leading the charge to protect and support the citizens of the United Colonies, wherever in the galaxy they may be. No one is born a United Colony citizen. Only through service to the UC can one hope to earn one's citizenship. But the UC prides itself on taking care of its people. Cost of living controls mean citizens pay less than their foreign counterparts for needs big and small. All citizens are issued a grant upon joining to get themselves on their feet. And only UC citizens have the opportunity to purchase property, getting the chance to live in one of the most beautiful cities in the settled systems. By joining the Vanguard today, you too can begin earning your place here, in the heart of galactic civilization, as a citizen of the United Colonies.
Welcome, applicant, to the piloting simulation chamber. Please enter the designated simulation pod to initiate your exam.
I've spent a fair bit of time in simulators just like these. They're startlingly realistic. Have fun.
Ah, you must be our new applicant. I'm Proctor Samuelson. The simulator's already been prepped. You can head in whenever you're ready. Of course, you'll be running through a high-realism combat flight simulation, engineered by members of the UC science staff, right here in Marszand. Your task is to defeat at least 3 tiers of simulated opponents. Accomplish that, and you pass the exam, and can then proceed on to your probationary mission. However, if you defeat more than 3 tiers of enemies, your required enlistment time for citizenship will be reduced, and your enlistment bonus increased. But you're welcome to try as many times as you like before returning to Commander Tuala to proceed on to the next step in your application process. We'll only keep the highest score you manage to achieve in there. While I can't answer that question directly, I will say this. Due to the solitary nature of our work, resourcefulness is a critical tool in any Vanguard pilot's repertoire. You're permitted, even encouraged, to use whatever tool you're able to find in there. Vanguard assignments can often include both space and ground combat. It'd be bad for both you and the United Colonies to not ensure you're adept in both capacities before sending you out on your first real assignment. The simulator is designed to be a near-perfect replica of a Class B Deimos hoplite, the United Colony's standard destroyer model. It's been tuned to provide a challenging but fair fight against the enemy squadrons you'll encounter inside. Good hunting.
You trying to get us thrown into prison?
Pickpocket! There's a pickpocket!
Just enter the simulator to get started, applicant.
Sidonia is an industrial, dropping off a few choice items. Bye-bye.
This is the Mark 18 Flight Simulation Chamber, applicant. Currently in orbit around a high-detail recreation of a remote world. When you're ready to begin, please take a seat in the pilot's chair. Your exam is simple. Defeat as many tiers of opponents as you can before your ship is disabled. You must defeat at least 3 tiers of opponents to pass the exam. Good hunting, applicant.
New targets active.
Extermination protocols active. Target defeated.
All targets eliminated. Progress recorded. Tier 1 reached. Initiating Tier 2. New targets active.
You must be able to do better than that.
Congratulations, applicant. You've defeated sufficient opponents to pass the exam. You may now exit the simulator through the hatch to record your current score, or stay and try your hand at the remaining tiers.
Congratulations, applicant. You've passed. You can head up to Commander Tuwala to receive your final results and your probationary assignment. Or you're welcome to take another run at the simulation if you'd like to try and earn a better score. We'll only keep your best run.
Well, look who's back. Everything go all right with the exam? Or did you have some questions you needed answered first? Ah, so these are your numbers that just came through then. You ready to hear how you did? Then let's get to them. So, looking at the data, hit every mural in the orientation hall, huh? A test of preparation and thoroughness. Two traits the Vanguard values highly. Psychological results are all within expected levels. Navy doesn't have room for folks that'll fall apart the first time they're trying to outrun a homing missile. Now, how'd you do against your foes? All right, clear Tier 3. We try to set a high bar, so that's no small feat. Nice work.
Hell of a job. I might even let you fly me around sometime.
So then, looking at your results as a whole, and presuming you're successful in completing your probationary mission, you could have your UC citizenship after only 10 years service. Better than your average lab rat or diplomat, but pretty standard for folks going out into combat.
10 years might seem like a long time, but it's worth the climb if you wish to become a citizen.
So, sounds to me like we've got Vanguard material on our hands. If you're interested, we could bring you on as a provisional member today. Get you the credits you've earned, then send you out on your probationary mission. First, though, all UC service people, provisional or otherwise, are required to swear an oath. So, you want to make this official? Commit yourself to the cause of the colonies?
It's a big decision. John, you're not about to have my compatriot here sign some kind of contract that sells you their grandmother 5 years down the line, are you?
Officer's honor, Sarah. This is honest work for honest credits. So, you ready to do the deed? Fantastic. Then just follow me. Wouldn't be right doing this where we couldn't see the skies. Now, raise your right hand. The motto of the Vanguard is Supra et Ultra, above and beyond. That is where we serve, beyond the furthest reaches of the United Colonies military, and with honor and duty above reproach. Do you swear to protect and defend the citizens of the United Colonies to the best of your abilities, and to uphold the values of the Vanguard? Honor, loyalty, self-reliance in all your actions as a member of the United Colonies Navy? Then let me be the first to officially welcome you to the United Colonies Vanguard. Now, only thing left is getting you that probationary mission. And what I've got is comms repair. Group trying to refurb an old colony war processing plant on Tau Ceti 2. Sounds like they'd barely gotten set up when their communications died. Place is as isolated as they come, so Brass wants a Vanguard to deliver the repair suite and ensure anyone present is safe and secure. So, can the people of Tau Ceti 2 count on you? That's the spirit. Head down to the spaceport and talk to Crew Chief Harath. He'll get you the repair suite plus your new recruit kit. Oh, and your advance. Give it your all out there. Supra et Ultra.
Wonder where this will all lead. Sure, go ahead. My parents considered themselves to be enlightened, but their lives were so busy they rarely pursued their beliefs. By the time I was old enough to start questioning these things, the idea of following any organized religion was almost an afterthought. It's not that I don't want to believe in anything, it's that my scientific mind is often at odds with my spiritual center, having been out there, in the Starfield, seeing all those magnificent wonders with my own eyes. I'm sorry if that disappoints you, but don't worry. While we're on this... You mean, apart from being the chair of Constellation for the past 5 years? Well, let's see. I pride myself with my aptitude for astrodynamics, calculating optimal trajectories for grav jumping. That's been quite useful in the past. And as far as planetary exploration, my area of expertise is botany. So, don't worry, I won't let you eat any... Exploration is my entire life. That being said, I will make a Before I graduated from school, I was in a band. And no, I don't mean... We called ourselves Ironic Comet. A ridiculous name. And before you ask, no, I wasn't the lead singer. The band never really went anywhere, of course, but those were good times. Certainly. Maybe another time.
I'm pleased to report that our stocks are currently being... Welcome to UC Distribution. Oh, well, certainly. Right. Come back if you need something else. Bulk items may require multiple levels of approval and can take up to several weeks for an official response. We apologize for any delay. Welcome to UC Distribution. You're always welcome back, if you don't mind a bit. Welcome to UC Distribution. Yes, of course. Please, take a look. Back to it then.
It's a...
Walter spends a fortune to maintain the lodge, but I'd say it's worth every credit.
Are you doing okay? I'm not sure anyone really asked yet. You matter too. You've done something really significant. I'm Mateo, theological scholar by trade, but now, well... Second one was on Kazal, buried, the same as the one you found. But the first one, right under our noses for years, sitting in storage, masquerading as... Can you imagine? Potentially the greatest discovery... I'm not gonna lie, I really wish I could have seen this for myself. It's hard to judge otherwise. Both you and Barrett saw something. I don't think that's a coincidence. Did it feel like it was trying to tell you something? I don't want to necessarily use the words... That sure lines up with everything else about these artifacts. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. We just need more data, which... Well, there was some overlap in interests. I'd spent years... I had made a really incredible discovery, only to lose it to... So I tried to steal it back. In the process, I met Walter. Turned out he owned the corporation. After a long talk, we realized we had a lot in common. And I was invited. Take care of yourself.
Anything I can do for you? Ever been to Sidonia? My brother works there. Oh, sure. There's always tons of travel into New Atlantis. So I love talking with the new people in here. Not to mention, it's also nice and safe. He's a Marine, and if that wasn't bad enough, he's stationed in Sidonia. He keeps telling me it's safe, and how he loves his job. All I ever hear about Sidonia is how many people get hurt in accidents there. Finally, I guess I can only hope that Chris will come to it. But anyways, I apologize. I didn't mean to dump all of that onto you. There's a huge tree in the Embassy District, across from the... Trust me, it may sound dumb, but I think everyone should see it at least... Oh, maybe I... See you.
It's good to be home.
Good to see you.
Well, I suppose calling you a rock. I am sorry I besmirched your chosen profession and made assumptions about you. My frustrations lie more with Barrett, not the first time his shenanigans have jeopardized. Not fair of me to take it out on you, especially since it would seem he made the right call. So, let's start over, shall we? Well, welcome aboard. By the way, in addition to a place to stay, the Lodge has a wealth of modification and research equipment. Spacesuit. You can even fashion industrial pieces for large-scale projects, if you don't mind extracting a few raw resources from a nearby. I'm a fan of self-reliance, so I encourage you to make use of the tools. Funny thing about companies, you build one sturdy enough, it doesn't need... Stroud Eklund functions quite well on a day-to-day basis, leaving me For years, I was captivated by the writing. I finally decided to do something more than admire from a distance, and so... Up until very recently, I'd like... But now, I don't suppose you have a history of this... Not exactly, no. But I suppose it doesn't matter. You saw... I'm no scientist. I leave that to the likes of Barrett and young Noel there. Frankly, this is the most exciting... Funny thing about companies, you build one sturdy enough, it does... Stroud Eklund function... For years, I finally decided... We're most well known for... Unfortunately, I've tried to convince... Me? Someone has to... I don't pretend to have... And... Remember, you're representing all of us out there.
Since I got here, this has felt like home. These people are family. I hope it feels that way for you too. That was intense, wasn't it? The artifacts, I mean. I guess a lot overwhelming, now that I'm Noel. It's really nice to meet you. And thank... Oh, gosh. No, I mean, that's flattering. Until you arrived, we only had the two. And the vague... There's still so much we don't know. And that... Well, right now nothing's off the table. Metallurgical analysis, chemical composition. One thing I'm really trying to improve is my overall database of xenobiology. I don't know if it will help in this case, but the more we know about it. Speaking of, if you're gonna be out there looking for more artifacts, you're bound to come across some interesting specimens. There's a galaxy chock full of resources. And if it sweetens the deal, I can pay. Pretty well, too. Okay, let's take a look. Of course, there's plenty of planets out there that no one has ever set foot on, and everything we learn about. We have a board where we post... Oh, right, that. If we're approaching this rationally, I suppose we'd call what you perceived as lights and music could be overloaded neural input, your brain's attempt to make... Sure, I'm not trying to suggest otherwise. That's okay. Now that this has happened to both you and Barrett, we can know to maybe we're all in this together. Well, Constellation's Barrett discovered. It's a shame he isn't here to. Planning on sticking around then? Good. I think we can find a spot for you. And along the way, right. So you've seen the library, obviously. Walter's quite proud of the collection, but Mateo has made more than a few contributions. Gardens are out the doors there, if you need a moment of quiet contemplation. Emphasis on the quiet part, at least usually. Let's head upstairs. Sebastian Banks, Constellation's founder, had this place built decades ago. It was a big to-do at the time, but most people in the city have forgotten we're here. So this is the bar. Usually no tender, so help yourself, within reason, of course. Now let's... see about that room. You're in luck. We were almost at max occupancy already, but there's still one room up for grabs. It's been nice having the place so full. Okay, this'll be you. Common room on one side, so that'll be quiet, and Mateo on the other side, so maybe a little less quiet. I'm sure Sarah has something planned for each of us, so I'd better get back to it. Don't want to keep her waiting too long. Enjoy!
Been a long time since I've been to Mars. Sol system doesn't get a lot of traffic. You can thank Barrett for that, if he's still around to thank when this is all said and done. Honestly, he took this seriously before any of us. It was at his urging that we started doing deep space scans. I will admit, it was something of a shock to see Barrett taking anything seriously. Ask whatever you'd like. Bye-bye.
there?